Okay, see if we're talking Simon Ayin
Ayin
Hey,
hey.
Simon 75, subsection 1, right from the beginning. Shulchan Aruch.
Okay. So Hateveas Chaverei the Beis Din. Um, someone a claimant, someone who's claiming a plaintiff who's claiming from his friend in Beis Din, Manali biyadcha, you got some of my money. Money.
Mana,
My
you got
money
some
is in your
mana.
hands.
Yeah,
So Beis Din Meinulai, so Beis Din says to him, Bar Dvarecha, clarify your words. Basically, why do you think he owes you money?
no,
Mima chayiv lach. What makes him obligated to you? Hilvisa Isai, Hilvesa Isai, Hifkada Biyadai, Hizik Mamaincha. Basically, we're talking about is this a loan? Was this a deposit? Did he damage your stuff? Like, in what way does he owe you money?
right. Why? Yeah, why?
Guy owes me $50, but yeah, why? Because it's possible that he believes that this other party owes him money, but in reality, there's no legal grounds. He doesn't actually owe you anything. You owed me money. You didn't let me come on your property and pick your apples. That's not nice. If you have an apple tree, I, as your neighbor, have a
Right.
right to your apples. I'm sorry, Karen, but you don't.
Or even yeah, or even if like he let's say suspects he stole from him.
Right. Like,
But the
it
fact that
is
I
still real. Like,
think you stole from me doesn't make you owe me the $50 that I think you
exactly.
stole from me. If
Right.
I come and say he stole from me and I whatever, that's one thing. But just to say you owe me, fine. Let's clarify well,
I just need
why
to
you know.
clarify it so that way we can whatchamacallit. So v'chein henisba imeshiv, and so too, if the defendant responds, ein lecha biyadi klum, or you ein chayiv lecha klum, so tzarich levar dvarav. You need to clarify, why don't you owe him anything? Why are you not obligated? You can't just come in and make claims and go off that. We need to clarify. You need to investigate
Right.
claims. The Shama Tayyib is Saber Shani Chayiv Levi Chayiv like maybe he made a mistake and he thinks he doesn't owe anything, but really he does. Oh, that's what you're talking about? Yeah, I guess I do owe you that. You're right. I didn't know that. You got to clarify. What are we talking about here? Afilu Haya Chacham Gadol. Even if this defendant is a Torah scholar, he knows all the type of halachas things. He's very, very well versed in Choshen Mishpat. I'm like. Ein lecha hefsid shetashav hatanasei v'soidienu ketzad ein ata chayiv like. There's a bezdin here. We instruct him to that you have to clarify because there's no downside to responding to this claim, and you should clearly explain this rationale for believing that you're not obligated.
Right.
So now the Rama jumps in. It says "V'im ein eraitze levar dvarav." Let's say he doesn't want to clarify. If the judge sees, wait, you don't want to clarify because you're trying to pull something here. There's something fraudulent going on.
Right.
So Yafsid, of course, this reluctance will yeah, this isn't going to be good for you. Like,
Right.
we
You're
already
gonna you're
suspect
about to
you, and
lose the
and you
case here. Hey, you're not. You're
you're
right.
pleading the fifth is not making you look better. It's
Right.
making it look worse. The lav, and so and on the opposite side, if the judge doesn't see anything negative, um, Ella Shenidu Ladayin Sheini Yachul Levarer, but instead he just the defendant he's not able to. He struggles to express his viewpoint clearly. He's not an articulate person,
Yeah.
or some sort of
Or maybe
disability or something.
or maybe he just doesn't remember.
Yeah, I think the implication here is that it's just he's not able to say it. But yeah, maybe he just doesn't remember, so he's not. That's why he's not able to say it. Or another innocent reason. Basically, I can't speak more on the subject because yeah, it was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Right.
Ein mechayvin I say mishum she'enim mevarer dvarav. We don't obligate him just because he's not able to talk. That's not what
Right.
we
Just
mean
because he
when we
can't
say that we have
clarify,
to.
it doesn't. Right. The second doesn't mean
Right,
he's
right.
not only that, especially if you come and say I because I loaned him money, right? And I say I don't know, I don't remember that. You have to really bring some kind of proof that you
I
loaned
mean,
me money.
what there's the classic story of the Rav, and I forget who it was with, but the whole thing where the guy returned the money, maybe it was one of the Rothschilds or something, but he returned the money when the Rav was in the middle of learning a sugya. And the Rav Pashit put the money in the Gemara and closed the Gemara without even noticing. And he didn't remember that the guy returned the money, and then it was a whole thing. The guy owes me money, and the guy lost everything because everyone assumed that he stole from the Rav. And it wasn't until years later the Rav opened that Gemara again, came across the cash, and went, "Oh my gosh, the guy was right. He was telling the emes the whole time." He returned the money, and I forgot about it because I was so involved in the Taisvis
Right.
and the Marshal, whatever. And there was a whole thing where the Rav married his daughter to this guy's son, or vice versa, to prove that he, because otherwise, yeah, it doesn't. You can't take that back. So again, whatever, any sort of circumstance that, yeah. So, but Taka. So the Rama goes on and says, why don't we just jump to and say, okay, sorry, Charlie, if you can't defend yourself, then you're guilty. Someone brings a
Right.
claim
You're
to you.
automatically guilty because yeah, because you
Yeah,
don't.
someone brought a claim. There's a chazaka against you.
No.
Because say legally, you're right. It sucks, but the chazaka against you. You have to prove your innocence. So no, we don't. Just because he can't articulate doesn't mean we're going to mechayiv him. Because the main thing is making him clarify. We don't say that he should clarify his statement because we only do that to ensure that we get an accurate judgment. We give a proper psak din. We give a proper din.
Right.
Mishum dinifishe ramoim, because there is a lot of fraud out there. So we just want to make sure that we're giving an emes psak. It's not so simple to just say, well, halacha says this. No, we want to make sure that what applies here, what is going on here.
Right.
I think that's where I
So
think this is my
that's why
approach
there's the
to
key. That's why there's
what
the
the
key
Shulchan
thing of the
Aruch.
dayan. If the dayan senses there's cheating going on here, in other words, what we're trying to figure out is there somebody just trying to cheat here because it became normal that people demand money from people without any they're trying to use trickery or the other way around where they deny it. So therefore, by asking them to clarify what's going on, you could sometimes you could clarify if there's cheating, like intentional cheating going on here off the bat.
I want to bring up though, and which is right off the bat, when you start this simon, you're like, what? What are we talking about here? We're talking about just straight up lies. I think there's another element, and I think even a deeper element here at play, because very often what you'll have, and I see this all the time in today's day and age, people will quote a Shulchan Aruch, they'll quote a Psak Din, and
Yeah.
say, "No, halacha says this," and it takes someone to go, wait a second, that doesn't apply here. Like, you can't just quote a random Psak Din whenever you want. It has to apply to the situation at hand. And I think that's what we're
Right.
saying here with Mechaber and the Ramah starting off with saying, what are we doing here is that you can't just go to the rabbi and say, Rabbi, just tell us what the book says. Which book? Where in the book?
Right.
Which pasuk? Like, yeah, over here, what the book says is that you're a terrible person. Like, what are we talking about? Context matters. And that's what, to me, this whole bar, the guy has to clarify, and you have to clarify, and he has to clarify, because you can't just say, Rabbi, it's in a jukebox, this ain't an ATM machine. You can't just choose whatever you want. Torah doesn't work that way. There's a specific psak that applies to this situation. So we have to always know, what is this situation? And Mishum
Yeah.
did it mind, because it happens so often, not just stam lies and cheats that people are trying to steal money. I think even more so that people will try to justify halachically and say, I'm a frum yid, and this guy owes me money because the Torah says so. This guy tried to charge me ribbis. But hold on, did you have a heter iska or not? Like, you can't just say, well, the Torah says. And no, halacha matters.
Right.
Context matters. So, and you should see, and the Rama says, see, Mashuk Savti Shimon Ayin Beis Sif Yud Zayin. That we apparently, he said 3 Simonim earlier. He got into this, that basically a failure to articulate a claim does not necessarily lead to a guilty verdict. So
Yeah.
that is the Mechaber Rama. I will tell you, by the way, I have a little bit of a cheat sheet over here. This English Shulchan Aruch from one of the online smicha programs.
Oh, good.
And after the Shulchan Aruch and Rama, I didn't even know that they had this. So they don't have on the side like little, like we have sometimes. They have a whole discussions and explanations.
Yeah.
He has now the sma, like a whole bunch of things, and so he has in English very nicely. So however if you want me to just read it, I can read it. Or
No,
if
well, I
you want
guess
to learn,
let's start by
let's
going
learn
inside on the
inside.
shach and what's it called, and then we'll
And
compare notes after that. Yeah.
if there's ever a doubt or whatever, I can look to use it as a reference sheet.
Right. And we can actually use that to clarify the notes that I have on them that we were used doing by Yacharusa. So
Yeah, sounds good.
okay. So shach aleph hateveya es chaverei v'chulu also the litain sheker kedei la'avi sadin kedei la'akve. So it's not allowed to say to make a false claim, right? In order to uh, um, what is it, to like to hold back the psak din, right? Or to influence it or
Just
whatever,
bechlal to
but
manipulate
right,
the psak,
manipulate
like
it.
the
Af al pishu zakai, even if really he's correct, right?
I think
But
that's
what
so
he's
perfect because
preempting, he's like preempting what's
it's
going to
like
happen in the court.
I'm in the right. I'm a
Right.
good guy. I know I'm in the right. I know this guy's a liar, but
But this
I
guy's
don't have the
lying.
greatest proof. So I'll fudge the evidence
Yeah,
so that a bad guy
exactly.
goes away, goes to jail. Like
Right.
you can't do that. You have to trust the
Okay.
system.
And he gives some examples. For example, كجاين ميشا هي نيشا بخبير منة ليتين مسايم. If there's a guy who has an obligation to him for 100, and 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 he can't claim 200. Why? كده ييد بمنة, because that way the guy will admit in the 100 that he actually owes him.
Classic Bab Metzia, Schneimer,
And
right?
then since
Or El
he
Metzia.
and then right and then since he was right, because the fact is, if the guy says it's not true,
Right. If you're saying pay for Bakol, that's different. But if he's made with
right,
Mexas, then he only has to pay
right,
half.
it makes
But then
us
I
he
only
can
get
make the
half of what I'm
shvua, then I'm
owed.
take, so I get my whole money back. Why? Because he
Yeah.
knows if he says 100 and the
So
guy's
then I get
making up
half.
with 50, he can get away with 50,
Right. So instead of me
right?
only getting 50, only getting half of what I'm owed,
Right,
I'll say he owes me double. They'll only force him to pay half, but that'll actually be what he owes me.
right,
And
and
I'll
then
actually get
and
my
then
$100 back.
right, and the bottom line is I didn't cheat because the truth. So you're not allowed to do this.
Right.
Um, right, because money is chayv
Right.
shavua.
Sure.
It'll be, and this is midiraisa from the Torah. I made the mixas. He admits part of it. The galgal olav mimakim acher, and then he'll roll onto him the why does he have to be megalgal on him the shvua though? Is the question. In other words, once the guy does the shvua, what's the problem? Why does he have to roll on him something else?
Right. I don't know what's this.
Ah, like let's say he has another taina against him. Right, this is in the Mekredis Va'aris down here. It says Kigain Shavuos Karkoish and Yochel Hashbi B'lei Gilgul Shavua. This is in Rashi. That in Shavuos, which is the Gemara that deals with oaths. That, like, for example, let's say besides for this, right, that he owes him, because listen, what's the problem? The guy's gonna. So why not just make him swear on if the guy admits the 100, he admits the 100. Why do you need him dafka to make a shvua, right? That's what he's doing. It's not even about getting the 100, because think about it. What he says is, the guy's gonna he's gonna let's say he's made the bakel on this thing, right? But he wants him to be made the mikzas dafka. He wants him specifically to that it should be half the amount. Because once there's a thing that once somebody's making an oath, you can do a gilgul shvua. You can roll on. You can, once he's making an oath already, you can make him make an oath for something that he otherwise would not be obligated to have an oath in.
Mhm.
So, for example, with properties, let's say you also have a disagreement with properties with the same guy. So I'm gonna say 200, so that now in admitting to the 100, he has to make an oath. And what am I going to do now? Now, once he's making an oath, this other matter that I can't grab him with to make an oath for, I can now get him to make an oath on this thing that has to do with properties, because since he's already making an oath, and he really owes me this
Right.
thing from this other deal, but
Right.
not you're not allowed to do that.
Galgal Shvua, I don't know if you
Yeah,
know this, but would Galgal Shvua work like on behalf of someone else? Like, let's say, I'm here today and I'm bringing him to make a Shvua on my behalf, but there's another friend I know that he owes money, but that other friend
I
can't
mean,
afford to bring it to
we're
Bezdin
gonna
or something.
we're gonna talk more about I think Google Shvo
Okay,
later, more in depth. But
okay, fine, fine.
I think it's only person to
But just
person.
for now, the whole point is to bring it up with regards to like this trickery, this kind of
Right now,
underhanded move to try to
even
get
though
him.
he really owes me this and he really owes me that,
Right? And you know it
but
does.
I
Right.
know that I can't force him and base him, so I'm gonna use it as like a legal like loophole to
Loophole.
like, yeah, you can't. What do you call it? Why? Because it's not. It's because it's an untrue claim. You're not allowed to make an untrue claim in a base. Sorry, sorry.
For all those that try to say the halacha is all about finding loopholes, it's quite the contrary. It's about following the rules and figuring out what are the rules. And here is very clear where it's halacha saying you can't just be looking for loopholes. It's not allowed. You can't be doing that.
Right.
You have to find what are the rules and what rules
Yeah.
apply to your situation. That's what it's about.
Now we have another situation. Second way, the Shach brings four ways total of this.
Okay.
The second way is the other guy does it. The defendant does it, right? That Haya Naisha Emana Vitanu Masayim. So I owe the guy 100, and now he's doing this and bringing against me 200. Why? Probably he's trying to do the thing in the that we just spoke about, whatever it is. Lo yomer ech berakil bebezdin. So you can't say, you know what? He's trying to do this legal trick on me. I'm going to deny the whole. So why? Because he thinks he's going to get me to be maida in part of it. I'm going to deny the whole thing. Lahadam lo yahya dvarim me'elam. In which case I walk free because there's no proof. Right? This never happened. And then and then privately I'll admit to him outside of Beis Din. Yeah, I owe you, and here's your 100.
Yeah.
Why? Because I don't want to be. I don't want. He should to have to make an oath according to the Torah, which, as we know, is a very heavy thing. To the
Well,
point where
that's one of the things also. It's
would
not
rather pay the money they don't owe than make a shvuah than make an oath.
and again, it's not that people were afraid to chas v'shalom say a false shvua.
No,
That
just
of
it's such a
course,
heavy thing. I don't want
saying
to. You know what? Here's your
making a
money.
shvua,
I don't want to
even
make an
about the
oath.
emes, even about
Right.
something I know for a fact, 100% I'm certain of.
Yeah.
But if this is no simple thing to make an oath, that's the respect of an oath, and that's why we stopped doing it
Yeah.
because so many people you see today,
Yeah.
like it's just they don't.
Okay. Now he brings a third thing. Is hayu shleisha neishi money be'echad. Three. So you have three people now, right? Three plaintiffs. They all they're all owed, right? The kafar bahan, and he's denying it. Lo yiyeh echad teveya v'shnayim meidim. U'chshiyitzim mimenu yuchalku. So they can't make a deal. You know what? Listen, we're all gonna lose our money here. Our money, right? We're all gonna lose our money. He owes all of us, each of us, a money. So you know what? I'm gonna claim he owes me 300 money. You guys be witnesses that you know that he owes me the money, the 300, and then he'll have to give the 300 because there's Adim, there's witnesses. So now the court's going to rule by the plaintiff, and then he's going to have to and then we'll split it. But the truth is, he truly owes us all. So you can't do that either. A fourth thing, Haya Tayana Mana al pi edechad the kafir by he brings him a taina, right? That he owes him one mana and he has one witness that supports it, and the guy denies it. And of course, like we know, you can't take money from one witness, right? Al pishnai made has to be with two witnesses. Lo yoymar leechad, so he shouldn't say to a guy, meaning to somebody else. Boy ani va'ata, let's come me and you, v'naidanu, and we'll do edus. Listen, I saw it, okay? I saw it, so I know the guy's lying when he's denying it. But I'm only one aid. But I'm telling you, I saw it with my own eyes. You can trust that this is fact, and he's trying to get out of it because he knows there's only one witness, but he really owes him. So you come and also be a witness. At the end of the day, we're doing a good thing. This guy's stealing money. We're returning their money to its rightful owner. So it's Eidur Sheker, it's a false witness. Also prohibited, not allowed to do it. Kol zem is bar mi ashas perik shvus ha'edus shvus ha'edus. All this is explained from the Gemara in the parak of in the chapters of the oaths of the witnesses, which is Shvuas page 31, side 1. Vati Sefta, the Shvuas parak hey, v'Rambam sefer Toen Venitan, v'Smag, what is it? Tishin Kuf Zayin. V'lo yodati lama lo iskiru atur mecha b'shum makim din elu. And the Shach does not understand why the Mechaber and the Tur do not mention this, being that it's mentioned everywhere else. So the Shach doesn't understand why they did not mention this. And we'll continue either later tonight or in the morning.
Yeah, I should be available again probably after like 7:30 or something.
Okay, I mean I'll be available more like 10:30, but
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure I'll be available that late, but whatever, we'll be in touch.
okay, so either then or in the morning. Okay.
Yechia Melech.
Yeah, Melech. Yeah, that's what's it called? That's a message from our executive producer there.
Nice.
Okay.
A word from our sponsor.
Yeah, where's my sponsor? Yeah.
Now your sponsor is Great Gizmos, Laces, and Locks.
That's it. The link in the description.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Take care.